Hello, guys, and welcome to Nations League Match Day 5. We are going to analyze the games we have on Friday and Saturday. We have Italy, England, and we have Alvaro and Dani with us.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Remember to leave your comments in the video and, of course, press the like, subscribe, tell us your tips or anything that it crosses your mind. So let's analyze the games we have on Friday, and this group is very interesting. We have Hungary surprisingly on top of the group with 7 points, then Germany with 6, and then Italy with 5 at the end, England with only 2, and the first game we are going to analyze is Germany-Hungary. So the top spot is on edge in this game. Alvaro, surprisingly, we see Hungary on top of this group. And be careful because they are scrapping good points. Actually, they played twice against Germany. They drew even in the Euros. So perhaps Hungary can keep it close. We see huge odds for Hungary's 14 for them to win in Germany. Perhaps this is too much, but I wouldn't be surprised if they can keep it close.
Let's see how they do it in now in September. The truth is that they did very well in June. I mean, they are competitive, that's for sure. Over the last 16 months, they have drawn with France, they have drawn twice with Germany, and they have been beaten England twice, all that in 16 months. Those are very good numbers for this side that are leading the group, and they will qualify for the finals if they beat Germany and Italy doesn't beat England. But I think that the draw is good for them here too, because they will remain in contention until the last very game. It's a bit contradictory, though, what Hungary is doing, because they are doing very well in the Nations League, but they haven't qualified for the World Cup. And this is a side that, I don't want to disrespect them at all, because this is Hungary, a country that has given a lot to football. In fact, I still believe that Hungary has a better past than present, and probably a better faraway past than a recent past. Because, for example, if you go to their charts, their list of records, I mean, for example, their 10 best ever scorers, well, the youngest of them is right now 67 years old. I hope that one day... no, seriously. I mean, you know who they are. Ferenc Puskás, for example, is the best ever scorer, but the best 10, well, they are old people already, and many of them sadly passed away. But, I really hope that players like Dominik Szoboszlai, for example, become the players that they hinted they could become. That would be fantastic. As I said before, they are leading the group, they are competitive, and they are playing against Germany. Germany have to beat Hungary, and if they do, they will regain the first spot in the group. Hansi Flick, as manager of Germany, hasn't lost. I mean, and he has been the manager for 13 games, 1-3, and his side has scored 40 goals, 9 against Liechtenstein, yes, but also 5 against Italy too. So this Germany is scoring plenty of goals. Let's see who plays. Hummels is not in the squad, even though this beginning of the season he's playing very well. Rudiger and Süle should be the central defenders. Then I think that Jonas Hoffmann, the best player probably back in June, probably will find it difficult to find the start because Germany has a lot of talent up front. Musiala had a fantastic beginning of the season. I think that he's going to start this time. He has scored 6 goals in 10 games this season. Then Timo Werner, well, let's see how he does it, because for Germany he's got a better scoring ratio than he has for his clubs. So I think that Timo Werner can be a good tool for Germany. And then let me tell you that if you go to the goal scorer market, they've gotten Mecha as the best paid scorer, which I find it a little bit hilarious, really, because he hasn't scored with Germany yet. But I put it down to the fact that maybe he's a Manchester City Academy product. Anyway, let's go to the odds. I think that over 2.75 goals is good here, because Germany has scored 40 goals in 13 games, and they have conceded in the last 5. And I also like Hungary to score a goal. That pays 1.9. So as you see, I'm going for the goals market here.
I think Hungary is one of the most organized teams we saw in the Nations League so far, but they're not only organized at the back defending, they are also very good when they go forward, or they've been very good. 7th for attempts on target, Hungary in the first 4 games of all the Nations League. They scored in 8 of the last 9. We know they beat England twice, and that 4-0 performance in June was fantastic, and drew 1-1 against England in World Cup qualifiers. So they're very good against the top teams. They beat Poland away, drew with Germany, almost beat Germany at the Euros, but there is a big question mark. For these games, they are without Roland Salah, who scored 2 against England in June. He's a Freiburg striker, he's doing well, but he's injured. They are also without Zsolt Nagy, who also scored against Germany and against England. So they got a little bit of an issues there, I think. And, Germany, as Alvaro said, they're unbeaten. They're going through a little bit of a rebuild. The only issue I go with Germany is that they don't have a world-class center forward, and sometimes that can help you during tournaments, during tough games, etc. But there are players, as Alvaro highlighted, in great form. Also, Leroy Sané, probably the best Leroy Sané we saw in the last 2 years so far now for Bayern Munich. Germany got basically the starting 11 that were going to go to the World Cup. Maybe they're only missing Wirtz from a potential starter, but then that's it. Whereas, as I said, Hungary, very organized under Marco Rossi, but a bit depleted for this one. But odds, Germany favorite, but if you want to find a little bit of value, half-time, full-time market, Germany, 191.
Okay, Dani trusts Germany. This game is going to be played in Leipzig in the Red Bull Arena. So Slow Life, for instance, knows what is going on. Hungary out of the World Cup behind England and Poland in that group, but they are competing both in the Euros and in the Nations League against top teams. So Germany, be careful with Hansi Flick. Now he's been missed in Bayern Munich. This new Germany heading to the World Cup, and so is England, one of the favorites for the World Cup, probably because the bookies, most of them are English or with English bookies, because I cannot see England as one of the 3 favorites, at least for the World Cup. But Dani, they are traveling to your country, Milan, Italy, England, always a good game, the final of the Euros. England, I guess they still have that score and that result in their mind, but this is another thing. This new Italy rebuilding after being out of the World Cup against North Macedonia with 5 points, England with 2. Heading or looking at this group standings, Dani, England need the victory if they don't want to be relegated. The odds tell us that this could be a draw.
They're very similar, the odds for England and Italy to win. I can't work it out. Maybe there is a little bit of a bias towards Italy in this case because they play at home. But I think, considering also all the injuries that Italy have, the rebuild, the players that Mancini has called and the ones that he hasn't called. If I look at the the starting 11, I think England are stronger. Man for man, if you do a combined 11 of the 2 starting 11 on Friday, I think only a couple of players from Italy will get into the England starting 11. Donnarumma, maybe Bonucci, and perhaps Barella. But I don't think the rest will be all England. But that's why I go for an England Asian handicap 0 in this case, which pays 199. I don't think England are going to lose this one. I think the strongest position that Italy has is the midfield, and that's where they won the final of the Euros with Verratti, Jorginho, and Barella, which, yes, they can keep the ball better than the English midfielders. But Verratti is injured for this one. Pellegrini, who couldn't replace him, is injured. Tonali is a doubt. Barella is not playing very well. And Jorginho is in and out of the Chelsea squad. So out of a sudden, the strongest position for Italy look a little bit weak. And, since Mancini started the rebuild, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, so he's a little bit hit and miss still. And again, the players that he's calling, it tells me he's still going through a little bit of an experiment. For example, he left at home Zaniolo, Spinazzola, Calabria. These are all proven Italy starters because he recognizes, Mancini, that these players are playing far too many games. So he's giving space to debutants or semi-debutants like Zerbin from Napoli, Cancellieri from Lazio. We got Mazzocchi, who plays for Salernitana, great wing-back, 0 international appearance for Italy. So you'll see more of these these youngsters, I think. We still got Gnonto, of course, up front from Leeds now, moved to Zurich. The issue with Italy is goals. Immobile is back. He had a great start of the season with Lazio, but we know that in the 4-3-3 of Mancini, sometimes he struggled to score. And who's going to score the goals for Italy? Scamacca? Well, he's good in the Europa League, but he's having a tough time, I think, in the Premier League. Let's see how he copes with the English defense. I don't know. Depends who's going to be more motivated. I know Southgate is massively under pressure after those very bad results in June. Mancini is under pressure, but not as much. And some of the England players, they still need to claim the place in the starting 11 for the World Cup. And also Italy against the top teams in the last 7 games against top teams. They only beat Belgium 2-1 in the Nations League first place final in 2021. Normally, against the top teams recently, they haven't scored much. They haven't done a lot. But yet, it's a team that had the 37 unbeaten game streak before everything collapsed in the playoff against Macedonia, so North Macedonia. So it's difficult. It's difficult to judge. I think England are not going to lose this one. So that's why I go for an England Nation handicap, 0-199. So if they draw, you get your money back. If they win at San Siro, you win 199.
The bookies don't expect many goals, actually. Under 2.5 goals, pays only 1.7, Alvaro.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. In the previous game, I was back in the goals market. Here I'm going for the full-time result market or maybe the half-time result market. Contrary to what Daniele says, I'm going to back Italy just because they are playing at home and because I think that England is not having their best moment and probably, Gareth Southgate and Roberto Mancini, they're going to test many players, even though I think that Roberto Mancini is doing many more tests than Gareth Southgate because he's not the time to do that now. I mean, in fact, if you check the squad of Roberto Mancini, 5 players come from Napoli, which is normal because they are top in the Serie A. But I wonder when was the last time that Napoli was providing the most players to the Italian national team. Long time, probably, Daniele, since that.
Yeah,
Napoli,
long time. Can't imagine. I can't imagine. Maybe under Sarri there were a few, but I don't know because most of them were foreign players. Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, but by the way, they are the best of Serie A at the moment, so rightly so. But one of them is Zerbin, only had 1 appearances for Italy, so does it count?
No, and I think the other day he was on the bench against AC Milan.
Yeah, came on.
Yeah,
he came on in the end. Yeah.
But anyway, 5 players from Napoli. It's true that that Italy hasn't been beaten. I'm going to rephrase this. Italy hasn't been able to beat World Cup winning opposition over the last 3 or 4 months because they didn't beat England, they didn't beat Germany, they didn't beat Argentina in the Finalissima. In fact, they lost 3-0. But anyway, I tend to back Italy here because I saw them play against England back in June and they were defending quite well, I would say. But nothing happened in that game and I put it down to Italy, really, because they got the result they wanted. And for this game, I mean, they are rebuilding their confidence. I know that Gareth Southgate is not the most popular man right now, but the levels of pressure he gets are uncomparable to what, for example, some other managers in the past got. So I think that he still has a little bit of credit. England will be relegated, by the way, if they lose to Italy, and they cannot reach the finals. And they've got a few players missing because Jordan Pickford is not there, the goalkeeper. And I really want to see a couple of things here. If finally Gareth Southgate will be given a start to Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham together, because Calvin Phillips is not in the squad, and I think that Bellingham and Declan Rice are far better than Calvin Phillips, really. Then Ivan Toney, the other day he got his first ever call for the English side, but then he played against was it Arsenal in the weekend? Yes, and he didn't have a lot of supply from his teammates, but he looked a little bit nervous as well. So let's see if Ivan Toney can improve. And generally speaking, I think that this side of England has a lot of players, but then they don't always click, which is normal maybe ahead of the World Cup as well. And I'm sure that in the World Cup they're going to be more competitive than they were back in June. Anyway, I'm going to back Italy here just because they are playing at home and they are doing slightly better than England in the Nations League. So Italy to win 293. I love it, really. And maybe an Asian handicap 0 for Italy in the first half if you want to be a little bit more conservative, 2.0.
Probably it's going to be a boring game. This is what the odds tell us. Also, England is not the most exciting team to watch, to be honest. Southgate under pressure. Remember that the last game was this 0-4 against Hungary. Luckily for them, they have an easy group in the World Cup, USA, Iran, and Wales. But this is still long far away. So let's focus on the Nations League, and the other group we have to analyze is Group 2. Here we have all the games on Saturday, and Spain and Portugal fighting to get into the top of this group. First game, Alvaro, Czech Republic, Portugal. Portugal really favorites because we all know that they have a lot of quality, they have a great squad, but Czech Republic are very competitive when they are playing at home in this Nations League, beat Switzerland, drew against Spain, whereas Portugal lost the last away game in Switzerland.
Yeah, I guess that anything can happen here. The Czech Republic is still in contention to make it to the playoffs, which is a testament of how well they have been doing so far. And if they win, they will be safe from relegation. They want to stay in this A-League, of course. Patrick Schick is back. He has scored 17 goals with the national team. And let's see who plays in goal, because in the last two games, they fielded two different goalies. So, they have to sort out a little bit that department as well. They almost beat Spain. I remember that, but Íñigo Martínez rescued a point for Spain in the Czech Republic pretty much in the last minute. I still believe that Portugal is favourite for this game because they've got one of the best squads in the world. And many players that we don't talk a lot about them because they've got better teammates. But, Guerreiro, Mateus Nunes, Rubén Neves, a player that Guardiola praised a lot back in the weekend. Palhinha, who scored a beautiful goal against Nottingham Forest the other day. Ricardo Horta. Those are players that we don't talk about, but they are very good. And if they were in any other squad, we will be talking about them. But sadly for them, they played in Portugal, or luckily for them, because they have very good teammates and they have a chance to go far in the World Cup. And then we do talk about some other players that are fantastic. Cancelo, Díaz, Bernardo, Bruno Fernandes, Cristiano, Leao, Diogo Jota. Then the manager, Fernando Santos, is a little bit conservative, in my opinion, and the team doesn't live up to the expectations. But still, Portugal, from the individual aspect, individually, they can win the game. And this is something that some other sides cannot do. This is a privilege. So this Portuguese side is very dangerous. One player that is not in the squad, by the way, is Rafa Silva. This is latest news, but he has quitted the national team for personal reasons. He was doing a fantastic start of the season with Benfica, and Rafa Silva will not be in the World Cup unless he changes his mind over the next 8 weeks. So yeah, for this game, I can go for the goals market. I think that over 2.25 goals is good, considering Portugal's scoring ability, that pays 186. But I also like Portugal to score over 1.5 goals. So basically, Portugal to score two or more. That doubles up your bet.
I agree with Alvaro when he says the manager of Portugal is a bit conservative. If you look at the numbers, they only score more than 2 goals in 2 of the last 8 games. No high-scoring team. The reverse fixture against Czech Republic ended only 2-0 for Portugal, but they dominated. The last one is Switzerland. They lost. They are 1 point behind Spain, so they can still chase the top spot. I think for me, it depends a lot. Apart from all the brilliant players that Portugal has said, I mean, I think it all depends in which form is Ronaldo. I think he's out of form. He hasn't played much for Man United. Even in the Europa League, he scored last time, but I don't see him the old Ronaldo. Let's see if he carries on the hunger, the desire to break other records, to score more goals. This could be the opportunity, really, to start 2 games in a row for Ronaldo. Let's see how he comes to this one. I mean, I agree with Alvaro here. They've got a lot of quality, especially in the middle. They should be able to dominate the game and put the game to bed really early. But I can't see a high-scoring game here either. Also because Czech Republic are organized. They play a very strong medium block. Sometimes even they defend very deep and can try to hit on the counter. That's what they've done so far in the Nations League. So you're going to make it difficult. But yeah, Portugal could be winning easily in the first half. That's why I go for an Asian handicap plus 0.25 for Czech Republic in the second half, which pays 1.99. So if the second half is a draw between these two teams, you get half your stake. If Czech Republic wins the second half, you win 1.99. So you lose only in the case they do lose the second half. But again, they might be losing the game already. And so Portugal might take the foot off the gas a little bit.
Well, I'll give some chances to Czech Republic. To be honest, double chance for them. I want to highlight this one is 2.12 in case you are backing the Czechs here. Portugal, they are in a very tough group, by the way, in the World Cup with Ghana, Uruguay, and South Korea. So they, apart from the great squad they have to compete as a team, and this is still yet to be seen. And the last game, Spain-Switzerland in Zaragoza Stadium, by the way, a long time without watching good football. Spain, they need the victory to top the group because they are playing against Portugal in the last group. Always Luis Enrique changing a lot of things in this team. There is no call to Iago Aspas, the best Spanish striker, even with Gerard Moreno out. Dani, and they are playing a Swiss team that is kind of rebuilding as well. Only one victory was against Portugal with Joaquin now on the bench. They lost the other three, only scored one goal. So I wouldn't say it should be easy for Spain, but Luis Enrique should negotiate these kind of games.
Should, although we know how tough it is to play against Switzerland, especially when they defend deep and they camp almost in the half and hit you in the counter. They only lost one game in the last six. Swiss, they only won one in the last six against Portugal, but they did very well in the World Cup qualifiers, and Italy knows very well. They need 3 points, Switzerland, at least in the last 2 games to avoid the relegation, so things don't look too good. Their reverse fixtures, I remember, was very scrappy. 1-0 for Spain. Spain didn't play well at all. I think there were a lot of criticism from Luis Enrique the way they approached the game, but in the end they managed to bring it home. But again, it was June. It was a little bit weird time to play football. And we know Spain, they do suffer against teams if they defend deep. I still remember those games at the Euros when they found a lot of difficulties in the group stages. So they prefer to play with teams that push a little bit higher and keep the ball. For Switzerland, I mean, it is a very experienced team going for old almost. You always have the same old. You got Xhaka, you got Freuler in midfield, you got Rodriguez, and then you got still Shaqiri, still hanging on. He's being called up, although he plays in America. But up front, 2 very exciting youngsters. That's the difference. Embolo for Monaco and Okafor Salzburg. They have very good domestic season. They're quick. If Spain pushes the line very, very high, they can hit you really with the pace. But Spain should be able to negotiate this one, I think, because they're going to keep the ball better, or hopefully that's what they're going to do. They always score in the last 10 games. They only lost 1. That is true. They're not a high-scoring team. No. They only score more than 2 against Iceland when they beat them 5-0. And yes, you mentioned a lot of injuries as well. I mean, there is no Oyarzabal, Laporte is injured, there is no Thiago. So, yeah, a little bit of experiments from the manager there as well. But I don't expect Spain to trash Switzerland. So you could go for an Asian handicap +1 for Switzerland, maybe +1.5, or under 2.5 goals here, which I like as well, 191.
Because Spain have always problem against teams that sit deep, as Dani is saying, Alvaro.
Yes, it's difficult to draw a pattern with Spain and scoring goals because normally they struggle to score, and suddenly sometimes they score 5 in a game, and you realize that this team has the potential, but maybe they don't have the scoring accuracy that some other big sides have, But still, the truth is that, for example, if you go to the head-to-head, you get a good example of what I'm saying, even though the head-to-head is a stretch over the last 5 or 6 years. But the last 6 games between Switzerland and Spain have ended up either with a 1-1 draw or with a 1-0. So, 1-0 or 1-0 in the last 6 games between these 2 sides. I mean, normally Spain and Switzerland, they are not offering the best games, and it's Spain is finding it difficult to beat them. That's true. But Spain will qualify for the finals if they win and Portugal loses in the Czech Republic. Spain cannot be relegated, and they are a better side than Switzerland, that's for sure. I know that they are going to be the first one in possession. That's for sure. If we could bet on that, I will bet on that, certainly, yeah. Because they are the first in possession with France. The first in possession here in the Nations League in the overall charts, and then the first with France in passing accuracy. Because we have very good midfielders and because we have a system. My only problem is that sometimes I don't like the choices of Luis Enrique, and I tell you why. I think that unconsciously, Luis Enrique sometimes is debilitating the Spanish side. He's making it weaker. And even more so, I think that I am a little bit scared that Luis Enrique may leave in Spain some of the best footballers in the country before the World Cup. I'm really scared about that. And I'm not talking about Iago Aspas anymore, even though for me he should be in this list. Iago Aspas will not play in the World Cup. It's as simple as that, because Luis Enrique doesn't want this player. And, it's a real shame, but he won't play in the World Cup. It's time to move on, I guess. But, then there are a few players that are out in this call that I strongly disagree with Luis Enrique. For example, one of them is Íñigo Martínez. Íñigo Martínez is back, and he is one of the best defenders in the country, not only because he plays for Athletic Club Bilbao, and Athletic Club Bilbao is one of the best defenses in the country, but Íñigo Martínez is far better than Diego Llorente, for example, and Guillamón, to start with. So this is what I'm talking about when I say that Luis Enrique is debilitating the Spanish side. And I think that this can have consequences, because in the big games, you prefer to have Íñigo Martínez in the side. Same thing happens with Thiago. Thiago, if he's half fit, I'm saying, he should be in the team. Ansu Fati, I don't talk about him anymore, because I think that it is very concerning that he's not able to play 90 minutes. But yeah, these are the things that I mean with Luis Enrique. And then, yes, there are some other players that are injured. For example, Oyarzabal.
Alvaro, Nacho Fernández?
Nacho is another very good example.
Top.
Nacho is better than Guillamón. That's for sure. I'm not going to talk about Eric Garcia for the same reason that I don't talk about Iago Aspas anymore. I assume that Eric Garcia is going to go. But Guillamón is not a better player than Nacho. These are the things that I mean. Then Oyarzabal, hopefully he will make it. He's already training on his own. He can run and he's touching the ball, but he's not playing with his teammates yet. He's got 6-7 weeks to recover. Gerard Moreno, bloody muscle injuries. He's still out. He's still out again. Aymeric Laporte, well, this one is going to go to the World Cup, but he's going to be very important for Spain, that's for sure. With Laporte, Íñigo Martínez, Spain has a very good defense. But anyway, I think that Spain normally dominates, and I think that they are going to beat Switzerland this time, because still they've got a better style than Switzerland. And hopefully the new debutants, Nico Williams and Borja Iglesias, do well. I think that Nico Williams is a very entertaining player to watch, and Borja Iglesias is offering a different profile of player to what we have. Let's see. But Spain to win the second half has a certain value there. 185, I like this one. Spain normally cooks the games slowly, and contrary to what Daniele said, I'm going to go for an Asian handicap -1 for Spain, 186.
Risky. This is very risky. Okay, guys. Well, Alvaro, this is it. We've analyzed all 4 games, so let's move on to your safe bet.
My safe bet is... It's not so risky. Come on, guys. Spain to win, 152.
I wouldn't risk this one, to be honest. Dani, yours?
My one is a game we haven't spoke. Norway travels to Slovenia in League B. Norway Asian handicap 0-149. They got the best striker in the world. They're not going to lose against you.
Haaland is there, no? Haaland is there.
Yeah. Well, it's not Sorlot, is it? It's Haaland. But Sorlot is not bad either. But yeah.
Not bad. Okay, Dani, and your ACCA?
Italy, England, double chance X2. Czech Republic, Portugal, under 2.5 goals. Slovenia, Norway, another double chance X2. And Serbia, Sweden, that's League B, over 1.5 goals. Total odds, 489.
You've lost all the faith in your Italian side now.
They're not gonna win against England, I'm afraid.
Alvaro, your ACCA?
Yeah, I'm going to keep aside from my ACCA the England-Italy. Too many uncertainties, I guess. It goes like this. Asian handicap -1.25 for Germany against the Hungarians. Greece to beat Cyprus.
There you go.
Spain to win. Czech Republic versus Portugal over 2 goals. Altogether, 628.
Well, too many uncertainties, I would say, in the whole Nations League. We had a comment in the previous video that it's very hard to bet on Nations League, that's for sure, because we don't know how seriously the games and the players are going to take these games, but we are trying to analyze the games for you. So, guys, leave your comments telling us what you think about these games, and don't forget to press the like and subscribe. We will be back for the last match day of this Nations League. Thank you, guys.
See you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.